Rightio, Mets, we're back in Australia for 48 hours.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's gone quick, the 10
gone
days
quick,
over in
man.
Thailand for us.
Yes.
I want to lead in with the question on the retreat, obviously, because that's what we're here to talk about.
Yep.
On a personal level, what was the goal for the retreat, not only for yourself, but the people that came along to the retreat this time?
Well, Jake, you know, we've spoken about it many times. These retreats aren't that easy. You know, I put my heart and soul into them, and leading in, I knew I was going to give, 100%. I knew the program that I set was going to be challenging, but it was also going to help individuals find exactly where they are. But I was there to push people way beyond their limits, to give them the ability, the confidence to take on life, essentially. But I was also in the back of my mind, it was like, this is the last one I'm doing. And towards the end, obviously, that changed, and we'll talk about it.
Yep.
But I just knew that if I could get the most out of every single person from a training perspective, a nutrition perspective, a recovery perspective, and allow the transitions to be perfect when they were, getting settled in their hotel rooms, when they were when we were going to eat together, when they were going to recovery at Tira together. I wanted to make sure that each transition was perfect and their whole day was filled. Obviously, I gave people free time.
Yep.
As we started doing it, I realised, well, these guys are up to the challenge. And then the next day they wanted more, and they wanted more. And each person was feeding off everyone's energy at that point. Even though I was leading the way, and Mirat was there, and Tina and yourself, those main people were there. They didn't want to let people like Mirat and I down. So as it evolved, I got the confidence and the ability to create a system where I know I can replicate it without thinking about it anymore.
Yes.
The process beforehand, there was a lot of back-end work. And to be honest, with everything that I had going on here at Titan Fitness, I didn't know if I had the bandwidth to do this much, but more importantly, to focus on every individual and push them way beyond their limits. And we've done that successfully. I probably exceeded the expectation of what I thought they were going to get out of it.
Yep.
But some of the comments from what every individual said changed my mind.
And that's funny you say that, because you've obviously had feedback. I know I've had feedback, and that's probably the biggest get out of it, is that people are coming and saying thank you, or this done this for me, and this helped me do this better, and I want to bring this back to Australia and implement this into my life, which is technically what we were trying to get, and we did receive that.
Yeah, look, and that was the biggest thing, because when you had certain people like Pete from Kermont Homes saying, I've done 2 years of therapy, and 1 week with you was dwarfed those 2 years of therapy. And like I spoke to Tyron Smith about this as well, where it was just simple. It was simple. We were sweating together, we were training together, we were eating together, we were doing our recovery sessions together, and we kept repeating what seemed really hard, 2-3 sessions a day. They were very intense sessions.
Yes.
But what it done was, it showed individuals what they're capable of, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show people that they could go beyond failure, they could push, beyond what they ever believed they could, and that gave them the confidence and gave me the confidence to want to do this and give this. It's hard to explain, but it's like this new lease of life.
Yep. Now, you just said simple, right? Do you think the previous 2 retreats helped to make this one structured so simply to be able to run smoothly?
100%, man. Like, you can read all the books in the world, you can have all these different people in your ear telling you what you got to do, which is in my case is what I had. But until you're on the ground, until you understand what you've got to do by actually doing the work, you'll never be able to figure it out. You'll never be able to figure it out properly. And there's heaps of retreats out there, I get that. But for me, like, I have a high standard of how they need to feel when they leave. A lot of these guys are business owners. A lot of these guys are high-level individuals. And to see them and the camaraderie and this togetherness, I was having a chat with Tyron, and he said, this is what life is. There's just this.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, the cost of entry isn't really that much for what you get to feel.
And experience. Yep.
Bro, we didn't do too much talking. It was our actions.
Yep. I agree.
It was our actions that made the difference. And I think, and even in the first one in Fiji, there was a lot of talk. But like Gearing was at the first retreat in Fiji.
Yep.
He said it doesn't compare.
No.
You know, there was talk there, there was goal setting there, but this one here, the actions made people feel unbelievable. And these are the kinds of things that I learned during the process of what works. And there's a few things that I'm gonna bring in to the next one that are gonna make it more incredible. Like one of them is like, instead of 7 nights, 10 nights.
Yeah, and that was the best thing about probably our flight home before we tried to sleep, was we started having a conversation around how we can make it better, even though the structure and that we had already implemented and the feedback we got, people were saying that I don't think you can run it better. But we feel adding a couple extra days, having these other little structures within that, we can make it better. Now, you spoke before, we were training twice a day. There was a weight session in the morning, which you and me were at. We're taking people on and they were loving them. In the afternoon, we do our own cardio, or we had Tina who ran spin classes, which are also great. What's the importance of having 2 training sessions, sometimes 3, within a day on these retreats?
So how it works, obviously, like when you're on a retreat like that in a beautiful place like Thailand, your cortisol levels are down.
Yep.
You're eating unbelievable food, and Pure Prep just served it right up, didn't they? Like,
They did.
You know, every protein source you can think of, every carb source you can think of, and fruit just out of this world, mate. The mango was unbelievable.
Yep.
So when you're recovering through nutrition, your cortisol levels are down because you're in this beautiful place that's like mountains and greenery everywhere.
Yep.
And then you throw in, you know, ice baths, hydro pool, magnesium pool, cold room, steam room, sauna, massages. You're recovering. A lot of people were sometimes getting 2 recovery sessions in between. Like one of the toughest sessions, and we had a workout in the morning. I remember when we were laying down. We had a spin class at 3 p.m.
Yep.
And this was towards the back end of the whole week.
Yep.
And I said to Jake, I got nothing in the tank. Then we go to the spin room. Mind you, there was no aircon in the spin room. There was, but there wasn't. And mate, it was steaming in there. The room was steaming. And just to give people context, Thailand's hot.
Yeah,
it's humid. And we all got through that session, and then Mirak goes, mate, we're walking up that big hill.
Yep.
And everyone had nothing in the tank, and they got up there.
We just did it.
I didn't have anything in the tank half an hour before that session.
Yep.
But we done it, and the whole group pulled each other. But I think that day was a bit of a breakthrough for everyone.
Yep.
Because there were tough sessions in the gym. There were tough sessions in the spin room. Going up that hill, doing the recovery. And that was right at the back end when we were smashed. But it showed everyone, wow, this is a breakthrough, man.
Yeah.
This is actually a breakthrough. We broke through the pain barrier. And everyone was a different body type.
100%.
It wasn't like everyone was fit.
No.
There was some guys that had never done spin.
I hadn't done a spin class.
Mate, Tyron hadn't done a spin class. And I was, to be honest, I know what Tina's spin classes are like, so I was a bit worried myself.
Yeah.
Pete had never done a spin class.
Yeah.
There was so many people that had never done a spin class.
I want to back up what you just said then, because as we were going to that spin class, which was the first one, but I think it was on a Wednesday or Thursday, so we were well into the retreat. Tina actually brought the energy, and once we finished, the challenge was from Murat was, we're going to walk the mountain now. We're going to go up that hill. We're all going to walk it, and you know what everyone did? Okay. Yeah, everyone just did it. So that was the biggest thing.
And you know, there was people that were struggling up that mountain.
Yeah, I was.
There was people that were really, really struggling, but everyone pulled one another together. You know, another thing I want to mention is like Gearing doesn't do HIIT classes.
Yeah.
Doesn't do spin classes.
Yep.
And he got in there and he done it, and he said, "Man, I want to do that in Sydney." But he brought his A game into those sessions, in the sessions that are totally foreign to him.
Yeah.
And that aspect of seeing those people get in there and do that makes a huge difference. Jake, it's the same as what we do when we bring people into this podcast room.
Yep.
Where they share their stories and they talk about how they help individuals. right? We done something special in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like, we had guys that, you know, were, you like yourself, ex-rugby league players, man. Like, you're talking about guys that are fucking fit,
Yeah.
right? We're not talking about guys that aren't fit as well.
Yeah.
And we're talking about people that aren't as fit. They all were doing the same thing.
Yes.
That was that for me was the biggest win, because when people go, who's it for? I go, you got to be committed to the challenge.
Yep.
It's going to be hard at points, but mate, I'm telling you, when you get through this, it's going to change everything. Like, you had a banged up knee,
Yeah.
and you were still going in there and doing the sessions,
Yep.
and you were dirty on yourself when you couldn't do the sessions.
Yeah.
You know, and not in a bad way, but you were just going, fuck, I want to be there with those individuals.
Yep.
You know, we had Tori there, and Tori's not the fittest person. Man.
Yeah.
You know, you seen Andre. Andre was down on his haunches. He was in the spin class. He stopped pedaling. I said, mate, what are you doing? Keep the legs moving.
You got to keep moving. The way that we recovered and ate. Now, you touched on it before, but I want to go into it again. We pretty much did it like professional athletes, right? How important is to have the diet and recovery on point with the amount of training we were actually doing?
It's everything. You can't get up in the morning and ready for your session if the fuel tank doesn't have the right fuel. And as you've seen there, we're having the best fats, the best protein sources, the best carb sources, the best fruits, and your natural sugars. And it made a massive difference. And like I said about Pure Prep, I can't talk highly enough of what they delivered. And to be able to go in there, you know, in the morning, at lunchtime, in the evening, to get the best produce, it helps and aids in recovery. But more importantly, it gives you the mental focus and the clarity to go into those sessions ready to rock. And that was something that I knew that was necessary for every individual. And it was funny because, bro, we ate a decent amount at every meal.
100%.
You'd have a big breakfast and you'd think 3-4 hours later, I can't have a big meal like that. But we were hungry because of the fuel
Yes.
that we were burning.
Yep, 100%.
And that's why, like, you know, when you look at pre-seasons and you talk about should NRL teams go there or sporting teams go there, mate, 100%, like 1,000,000%, it's only going to make you better. It's only going to make you stronger. It's only going to make you get ready for a season. It doesn't matter what season it is, and it can be for, you know, I want to get better at, you know, my position at work. I need more energy. I need more of this. I need more of that. This retreat for those individuals, like Pete from Kermont Holmes, mate, he's like, mate, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
I'm going all out. Hardest yesterday, mate. I'm super busy. I'm stopped, mate. So I got off the plane. I haven't stopped. He got in the, to his credit, he was at the gym twice.
Yes.
This week, straight off the plane. So were you.
Yep. And that's the, as you're saying, and we've all spoken about it, the foundation's been laid now, right? And it's like we've also brought the camaraderie we had over there back here, because everyone
Big
practically trains at Titan, right? So we are holding ourselves individually and as a group accountable. We've got the group chat still. We're still talking to each other about how we can be better and turning up for ourselves over here in our lives. Now, let's add this to the conversation. I'll ask you first and then I'll add my bit after it. What was some stuff you took away personally from the retreat for yourself?
The biggest one is like having, like Mirat was there for the last one, but him and I, not even talking about it, but working so cohesively together.
I noticed it. Yeah,
you know what I mean? There wasn't even a chat. And what helped in that process, bro, was Mirat and I were always the first ones up. Like, we'd be, you know, getting up at like 20 past 4 or 4 a.m. in the morning and going for our 5 a.m. walks.
Yep.
And just, you know, that helped a lot, just us talking about what we're going to do before the session.
Yep.
And then going to stay at 4:35. He'd been there at 4:30, I'd been there at 5 a.m. And just talking about, you know, our training and more importantly, what we're going to do for, you know, our teams. And the biggest takeaway in that area was that it was great having my brother there working alongside me. That wasn't quite planned that way. It just worked unbelievably well.
Sort of just took shape that way.
It took shape, man. I didn't know it was going to work that well. You know, him being in the spin class. Merritt's always been good on the bike.
Yeah.
So him being in there and then us all being in there, like, that was a huge win. And then, you know, when I came back, Jake, I thought, okay, geez, I'm going to bring this feeling to Titan Fitness. I'm going to bring this feeling. And, you know, like, we're talking about doing the breath work. We're talking about doing all these things. You know, we're going to go in a tennis class. We're going to bring what we done in Thailand here,
Yep.
but we're still going to do Thailand. We're
100%.
still going to do Thailand because, man, man, you know how busy I was just organising the back end. You know, getting with the people in the room.
Yep.
Like just that was. I wanted to get that perfect, bro, at the Blue. Like, and I was stressing about that a little bit to get that perfect, because when every person came in late at night, I wanted to make that process really, really easy.
Yep.
And you seen me, you know, Andre's flight got delayed.
Yep.
And I stayed up till 12 p.m. to get him in his room.
Yep.
And what happened, bro? Like, the guy forgot his key card in the teller
Yeah. There was
at
little
the
hiccups.
airport,
Yep.
and he was like, he was disheveled, bro, when he got there. But to get him in there and to give him that feeling and get that testimonial off him at the end, when it didn't start well for him, like all those little things were big wins. And what it made me realise was, bro, I got to, you know, drawing a line in the sand and creating new standards for Titan Fitness, you know, for what we do here and what we do on our Elevate retreats. That was the biggest thing, man, like creating new standards. And look, Jake, not everyone's going to understand it unless you were there.
Yeah, exactly right.
You guys are all there.
Right.
So when I talk to you guys, I'm talking to the guys on the same page.
Exactly right.
I don't know if everyone's going to be on the same page straight away here yet, but when they see this footage, bro, when they see what that boat ride was and what that drone footage looks like, they're going to understand what this retreat does for all those people. And those people that in Thailand understand that probably more than other people, and probably the highest performers understand that even more. Yeah,
and I back that up. You know, like, we trained hard, but there was also times, even when we had our downtime, we were getting to know each other. The camaraderie was there. You know, we had James and his daughter Tori there. Like, there was women there, Tina obviously also. So we're all in a respectful manner having conversations just about life, how good the day's going, if we're tired, do we need a hand, all those sorts of things, all those sorts of conversations were coming up. I loved how we all went down after the boat ride and had lunch. Right on the water there. I was that was my biggest thing. I was sort of sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm really, really grateful at the moment. You know, like, I've never had that experience of being on an island, the sand and the ocean there, having lunch, and everyone got a photo together and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, wow, that was middle of the week too. I'm like, this back end of the week's going to be good. We're not even at the stay yet. Wait till we're at the stay. And then as we got to the stay, it just felt like all the sort of hard work had been done that led us into sort of tapering off towards the back end of the week, which was great. Now, going into the next one. Now, as you said before, we'd spoken about this. You were like, "This is the last one. This is taking a lot out of me when there's so much to do at Titan Fitness," which there is. But I feel like just observing everything, we have the connections now. Everything's an email or a phone call away. So that structure's in place. Everything's a phone call or an email away. Now, does that make it so much easier for yourself now to be able to prepare? Because all you have to do is say, we need this amount of rooms at this time. And then also I want to add to this question is, we want people involved at these things where they're buying into what we're bringing. Because we've had times when people have gone to do their own thing, which is totally fine, but they're missing the point of actually coming on these retreats.
100%. Like, it's just been made super simple for me now. The challenge for the next one, which is going to be in March next year, is going to be...
so you're going to have it in March. It's going to be March. That's cool. Nice.
What I'm going to do is... Yeah, you heard it first. It's an exclusive.
Well, I didn't know it was exclusive. Yeah, it is.
It's an exclusive.
Cool. I'm excited.
That's cool. The scoop.
There we go.
What I'm going to do for the next one is I'm going to make sure that, you know, apart from the people that came, because they're locked in.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyone that wants to come, they have to be vetted in the process. So I want to create something that they need to do to pass the test, because I want this to be not sacred, but I want people to earn it.
Yeah.
I want people to earn the change they're about to make in their lives.
Yep.
But I am going to bring a form of this to Titan Fitness, right? You know, I was talking to Pete from Kermon Homes yesterday, and he said, Mets, we need to have 2 of these a year. I won't do 2 this year just because of the magnitude of what we're doing here at Titan Fitness.
Yep.
But going into next year, we'll probably do 2.
Yep.
It gives me time to just like not the stay was perfect. You know what I mean? The blue was great. So having those things locked in, you know, pirates locked in, I know exactly what we're going to do at the stay now.
Meeting Jed, who runs Pure Prep.
Oh,
massive.
Pure Prep made it so much easier,
mate,
bro.
He looked after us tremendously.
Like, bro, that made just life so easy.
Yeah.
But, you know, the element I'm going to bring to this next one, we didn't even go to the boxing area at the stay.
No.
So the next one, you know, we talk about the hybrid athlete that I love is weights, you know, giant sets, drop sets, rest pauses, hit sessions, spin sessions, and I'm going to throw in boxing. But for that, when you do 10 days, you can throw more in.
Yep.
I know what the recovery has got to look like now, more so than ever.
Yep.
Even like how easy was the ice baths on the roof.
Yep.
Once we got them in the system, how great was it to be able to do that?
Yep.
You know, I didn't know how that was going to work. That worked out perfectly. So there was a lot of things that really worked really well. So, and keeping it simple and pushing people to the limit there, with that, you know, simplicity in mind, made a huge impact and difference to what this prep looks like. Because most of the time people don't realise it takes 6 months to prepare for this. It does. But we've just shortened that up.
Easily.
Big time. Like by months. By months.
Easily. And that's the power of having obviously just done the third one, but the previous two is we're actually seeing these people in the physical. They understand what we're doing. They've seen the group that was there, how everyone was respectful. And that's the thing I want to talk about now is the people that come along to these things, we want them to be able to understand, it is cool to be a part of, but you're here for a reason. You've come to this thing to better yourself in some way. So we've got this plan implemented for you. Now it's your job to buy into that.
Yes.
What sort of structure will you have for people wanting to be a part of these things?
Look, it's going to be pretty simple, right? First, you have to buy into the sessions. Yeah. You have to buy. And look, you know me, Jake. If you've got an injury, I'll work around it. Like, I mean, Pete hurt his quad in the first leg session. Yeah. But we worked around it. Yeah. We worked around the whole session. I make it so simple that whatever injury or, you know, problem that you got, we work around it. Yeah. So, you know, the biggest thing is buying into the sessions and then testing the people here at Tighter Fitness, so they understand, hey, this is what you get. This is when the meal times are. This is what the sessions look like. You got to go to a spin class, get into a tennis spin class, come in one of my HIIT classes, right? Because this is what's going to happen. Yeah. Come to one of our weight training sessions. So I'm going to create something like that here. Obviously, we'll give them the diet, we'll give them the supplement program. Yep. We'll even help them. I'll even help them with a food prep team here in Sydney, so I can mimic something like this for them for the 10 days. Perfect. I want to see, again, if there's 40 or 50 people that want to come, I can't take all of them, unfortunately. That's why it's going to be exclusive. It's going to be really exclusive. And look, in time, I can work out a way to facilitate that because, you know, we are going to build better coaches that are going to be able to do that because the system is now a lot easier to execute. And the thing is, I know what it looks like there. I can mimic that here at Tighter Fitness. So it's a huge advantage that we have. So, and that was another thing that I took away. I can actually mimic what's going to happen there, over there, and I can help the coaches and train the coaches here to execute it over there. And you wouldn't want any more than 10 or 12 people on those things anyway. Otherwise, it takes away from the actual event because to have to, I wouldn't say worry, but look after anywhere from 15 to 20 people is too much. You know what I mean? To have 10 or 12 where you have groups of 5 or 6 is perfect to be able to handle, I think. It's intimate and people really get to know each other that way. Yeah. And I found the coolest sessions were not the training sessions all the time, but when we went and had coffee. Yeah, when we went on those walks, you know, like even though the walks were a couple K up hills in the sun, by the end of it, you'd struck up a 45-minute conversation. 100%. I know I did with Pete. I know we keep alluding to Pete, but he was so easy to talk to, and we had some great life chats. And I got a heap from him. You know, I didn't know 100%. Pete from a bar of soap till we went over there. You know, so it was really Pete
really
didn't
cool.
Know James. James didn't know Harless or Gearing. Yep. Pete didn't know Harless. He knew Gearing, but he didn't know Harless. Yeah. Do you reckon it's a positive that they didn't know Harless when we got over there? Or? Probably. But yeah, but they got along on a house on fire, like a house on fire. So that was huge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to March. And as I just said, like I only found out 10 minutes ago, I had an inkling you wanted to do one again, but like, yeah.
Didn't know when.
Didn't know when.
Because I said initially next year, end of October.
Yeah, you did,
But I think, look, coming back and I was, helping, with the design of the bathrooms and going to Germany, having my supplements out very soon. I don't get overwhelmed, but I go, man, can I get all of that done? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And to be honest, going to Thailand and coming back, man, I've come back completely different myself, Jake. I've come back more motivated than ever, more pumped up than ever, more focused than ever. I'm like laser-like now. And like I'm going to Germany and I'm training for Germany now for 2 weeks. And I'm using Germany as my retreat as well with Murat, because I know Murat's pumped up as well.
That's
like
cool.
He's taken his training to the next level.
Yeah, that's great.
So for me, it's like the next 4 weeks is like, we're really going hard.
Yep.
And when I train that way, Jake, and this is the same for you, when I train that way and I eat that way, bro, I just perform better at everything.
Yep.
I perform better for my team. I perform better for the members. I perform better for everyone.
And I think too, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the feedback has warranted you to do another one next year, maybe even two, because once we sort of, even since the last night we're there, Pete, James, when's the next one? Are you going to do another one? Because you said this is the last one.
Yeah.
You were saying it, 2-3 weeks out before we actually did it. So those guys who were involved in that one now, they were already saying, I'm going to let this person know. Can we bring this person?
Look, here's some breaking news. I'm going to take Susie there at some point this year.
Great.
And what I am going to do, and this is where the balance comes back for the business, because as we grow, I want to be able to help our team as well. And that's why I'm going to take Susie. But I'm not going to give you the element of surprise yet.
Yeah.
Because I just got to wait.
Yeah.
But I want our whole team to feel what we feel.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if our whole team feels it, bro, I feel like we're all on the same page and we can help more people.
Yep.
But it's not going to all be at the same time. I'm going to stagger it.
Yep.
So, so they can all enjoy this journey.
Yep.
Because, one thing, Jake, I'm tough, I'm uncompromising, I tell people the way it is. I do it, my way. But I am very empathetic. I want the best for people all the time. And I want the best for my team. I want the best for them as well. And I want to bring them on that journey of what we received, even though we're going to be there. But I want them to feel it.
100%. And I think that'd be great, Mitch, to have, just all the girls there that experiencing and training together and, being away from that work environment, getting to know each other away from that, even though we are over there to do a job. It's still those little couple hours in the day where you can go and do things by yourself or with one or two of your friends.
What I'm doing, bro, what I want to do going into next year, I'm designing the gym and my life so I can go there and coach them and help them as well.
Yep.
So they can be there, and some of those groups won't be as big, but I'll get people coming over to do the same thing because
it's important.
Bro, it's like Tina said, Tina's a little bit older. I won't say how old she is, but she said that was unbelievable. Yeah. And you want everyone to feel like you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think if we're going to have the best team in the world that are all on the same page helping people, it's a must.
It is. It is. And the content we still haven't released.
Yeah.
That's
what's the drone footage, bro. I just watched a bit of that on Kenny's phone, bro.
It's unbelievable.
He went through the swing.
It was the best. What about when gearing's like that when he come through the boat?
And then Tina was like that too. But talk about the Russian guys, right?
Yeah.
Got this guy coming on the boat. I'm thinking he's South American. He gets on there and Halas goes, he's Russian. Yeah. Then he's put these goggles on and he's sitting with us on the back deck.
Driving the...
And then I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, where the hell is this guy from? This guy is not a normal drone operator.
No.
And then I seen the footage and I'm like going, you know what I loved about the footage Kenny just showed me, bro? It goes through the swing, along the water, and I'm looking at the scenery of that.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck, man, And you know, this is another thing I want to say, Jake. Like, you know, like people don't understand the work that I put in all the time, but that work that I put in created that experience for myself.
Yeah.
And like I said to him, you were at the airport when I was talking to Rafa, and I couldn't. And that barbecue that Rafa done for us,
beautiful.
bro. Like, that was like next level, man. And I'm in the scene of Fast and Furious, like when I'm there.
Yep.
And then I'm at the airport talking to him, and I got to do a shout out for Rafa, man.
Yeah.
Like without Rafa, you know,
They probably
in
don't
Thailand,
happen.
bro,
Yeah, they probably don't happen.
none of this happens.
Yeah.
This experience that you felt, I felt, all the boys, Mirat, I never do Thailand, bro. And I just want to thank Rafa from Candy, from the Garden, because he's truly an amazing human being. He really cares about everything that I do. He genuinely is a support network. He only wants the best for us. And, you know, I can't thank him enough for helping me go to Thailand and experiencing that. And, you know, like when someone like Tyron who's gone to Bali, gone everywhere around the world, was like, Mets, I feel like I've got to talk to you every single day. That's because of Rafa.
Yeah. And, you know, the funny thing is too, these people haven't met Rafa yet. Wait till they met, because I know for myself, the one
what
that I
about
went
that
to
barbecue, bro? Come
was
on.
out of
Like,
control.
talk about, like,
I didn't
it's
leave the
something out of a
barbecue.
movie scene, bro.
I know. I didn't leave the smoker. He kept pulling the meat off. I was sitting there trying it first. It was
But
the
like
best.
just the character, like me, you, Harless,
all of it.
Tori, and
his
James.
family was there too.
His family.
Yep.
Honestly, it felt like it was out of Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
I felt like I was on some Hollywood scene.
Yeah.
And just the love that he, remember like when we were asking him about the barbecue and the meat, he goes, no, I love doing it.
Yeah.
I want it. I cut it, I put it in the smoker, I do it.
Yep.
And the love that was in that meat, bro, that tomahawk.
It was great.
Like, bro, like,
it was
you know,
a great
like,
start.
I feel spoiled sometimes.
Yeah.
But, you know, I always say to people, bro, like, the hard work creates the opportunities.
Yes.
And you know, when I came back, and even when I'm sitting here, I'm having just these visions, bro. Like it's a great feeling, man.
And
it's an emotional great feeling. Like I'm feeling that right now.
yeah. And Rafa's got a heap going on over there too. Like, wait till we can
Man.
be
This
a
is
part
only
of
going
that.
to get bigger, bro.
That's what I'm sitting here thinking of, because we know what he's doing.
We know what he's doing.
So,
man.
you know, that's the next thing, is to show people what Rafa's doing there,
Yeah,
because
man.
that's just another point of difference.
Like
in
feeling his energy, man.
100%.
And that's
massive.
one thing. Like when you do 10 nights,
Yep.
it's easier to do those catch-ups.
It does.
With him, you know what I mean?
It is, and that's the best thing, is people meeting other people to find
Yeah,
out where
man.
they're from. Like Rafa's from South America.
Yeah, man.
Then all of a sudden he's in Thailand doing what he's doing now. You know, you're doing this here, and where you're from, where I'm from, where everyone else is from, we can go to these places for 10 days and leave that stuff behind and hone in on what we actually want to achieve. And that was another big thing. We've come back now, even though like I'm not in your mind, the stuff you say that you want to do, I'm starting to see now. Like they're doing the bathrooms upstairs, and all of a sudden there's going to be other things coming in the gym that no one really knows about yet until it's actually here. You know, we just continue to grow and be better. And as you said
Actually,
before,
you know what I want
setting
to do,
a
bro?
standard.
Next Tuesday, you're coming to Life Fitness with Kenny.
Oh yeah,
I'm
no.
going to get you on there.
Yeah, cool.
I want you to feel it, because I want you to come back. Because one thing, and this is another reason I want you to come, because you're doing the ice baths out the front.
Yeah, yeah.
So you talk to so many members.
Yep.
We're going to have the printout. You're going to tell them, hey, listen, I actually got on it.
Oh, the
Yeah,
the
because I want you to tell them the feeling.
All right.
I want you to tell them the feeling that I felt.
Okay.
Because like I could talk about it, but until you get on, you can see it. It's like Thailand right now, right? You can tell people the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you were there.
But they'll never get it until they go and do
Yeah,
it.
but they won't. But you can actually tell. You can make them feel it. You like you said. That's why I want you to get on the treadmill.
Yeah, right.
You're right, because you're going to be able to actually tell them a lot more about it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I can tell you as much as I want, but until you get on it, you're not going to know. And it's the same with the retreats. You won't know. It's almost like, bro, and I was saying this before, it's the fountain of youth, bro.
Yep.
Like, we were in the gym, right? We all got back from Thailand. You know what's the number one thing everyone said? Geez, you guys look healthy.
Yeah.
Geez, you guys look good.
Yep.
I want everyone to feel that, bro.
Yeah. And we will.
It's funny because the culmination of everything that I've done has been all about that in the fitness industry.
Yeah, and it's great to see things, manifest and come to life.
And bro, I've got to go to another place right now where we're going to help more people.
Excellent.
I've got a meeting in a moment.
Yep.
I've got to go to that. Is there any final questions?
Mate, that's all. I think we covered everything.
Bro, we covered everything.
All I will say is just keep watching because it's coming.
And this is the thing I want to say everyone about Jake as well. Our podcasts and the people that we bring on is about all the things that we do.
100%.
It's about promoting all these healthy, disciplines that are going to make people's lives better.
Yep.
Our podcasts are about people's journeys and their stories so they can get better.
Yep.
And it's going to continue to go. And we've got some amazing guests coming. And, rugby league is a big part of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some great guests talk about their stories, how they overcame challenges. And Thailand literally and actually was about overcoming more challenges and pushing through those barriers and those walls to become your best self.
100%.
That's what it was, bro.
It is.
It's the same as what the podcast is here, bro. It's the same as every guest that we bring here is what we talk about.
Yep.
We peel off all these setbacks and these walls that they created for themselves so they can push through and become their best.
Break them down. I agree, man. I agree.
Over and out.
Let's go attack the day.
Let's go.